I was kicked out as a teenager after my twin brother spread lies about me, and my parents believed him. Later, I built a successful career entirely on my own. My parents suddenly demanded money from me. My name is Rachel, 28 female, and I have a twin brother named Eric, 28 male. From as early as I can remember, our parents constantly made it clear they believed Eric would do something special with his life. With me, though, it was the opposite. I was typecast as the family disappointment just because I liked sports and making friends more than hitting the books. The constant comparisons wore me down, crushed my confidence, and made me feel unwanted and out of place in my own home. Every birthday, I watched Eric have huge parties with his friends while my own celebrations were practically ignored. He got to have sleepovers all the time, something I was never allowed. Honestly, I hated my childhood. The only person who seemed to truly care about me was my grandmother. She always brought my favorite treats when she visited and would slip me some cash so I could have a little bit of joy in my life. But as we got older, this blatant favoritism mutated into flat-out emotional abuse. My parents didn't just compare us anymore. They mocked my hobbies, constantly teased me about my grades, and never let me do extracurricular activities. I was supposed to be more like Eric and focus only on schoolwork. All of this took a toll on me. Things got even worse in high school. Sophomore year, I got grounded for the 100th time, but this time it was for downloading Snapchat. I hadn't even done anything wrong. I just wanted to message my friends like a normal teenager. My parents freaked out, turned my room upside down, ripped my doors off the hinges, and declared I'd have zero privacy as long as I lived under their roof. Unfortunately, Eric didn't back me up. He made everything worse, playing right into our parents' toxicity to his own advantage. He started a campaign of lies, making up stories about me to get out of trouble. If anything went missing, he'd blame me, and my parents would always side with him. He would insult me in front of my school friends and make fun of how I looked. Oddly, he wasn't popular at school. He was pretty awkward and introverted, and resented the fact that I could make friends so easily while he just couldn't. On our 14th birthday, his jealousy exploded. For reasons I'll never know, none of Eric's friends came to his party. Meanwhile, my friends took me out for ice cream, and I had the best time. He was furious. That's when he started spreading disgusting rumors at school, painting me as a spoiled brat. He even upped his tactics. He'd hit himself, giving himself bruises, then prove at school that I was beating him up at home to get sympathy. When our parents noticed his injuries, he blamed sports with friends. The rumors took off like wildfire. Suddenly, even friends I'd known since elementary school started avoiding me. When I asked my now ex-best friend why things had gotten weird, she told me everything. Eric had been going out of his way to poison everyone against me, accusing me of violence and acting like I was some monster. I felt like the ground had vanished under my feet. It was such a deep betrayal that I didn't even know what to say to him. I tried desperately to get him to stop, but he laughed in my face, saying I deserved to be alone. Soon, my teachers even started acting differently. It was like I was living in a nightmare alternate world. Everywhere I went, I was met with suspicion. The rumors reached the principal, and my worst fear came true. One day, I was called into the office. Eric, both our parents, and the principal were waiting for me. The principal demanded to know the truth. I hoped, for one split second, that Eric would come clean. Not a chance. He doubled down, telling everyone that I abused him because I was jealous of the affection he got. My mom broke down in tears, clinging to Eric like he was a child hero. My dad patted his back, calling him brave for speaking up. I tried desperately to tell my side, but no one, especially my parents, wanted to hear it. Eric painted me as the school bully, and the principal was ready to make an example out of me. He suspended me for 10 days. My parents dragged me home in silence. Suddenly, my dad started dumping my stuff into a suitcase. My mom and I both asked what he was doing, but he just yelled that he wouldn't let a bully live under the same roof as Eric any longer. I begged, on my knees, for Eric to just tell the truth, but he ignored me. My dad threw my suitcase into the foyer and barked that maybe my grandmother could pick me up if she wanted me. I was out. My grandmother arrived, immediately scooped up my stuff, and marched right up to my dad. She let him have it, threatening to call the police and CPS if he ever tried to contact me again. My mom tried to shift the blame to me, but my grandmother wasn't having any of it. For the first time, I saw someone stand up for me, and it was the most powerful feeling in the world. I moved in with my grandmother, completely wrecked inside. I barely ate or slept, but at least she believed me when I told her what Eric had done. She was as shocked as I'd been and assured me she'd always be there for me. Returning to school after my suspension was hell. No one would talk to me. My teachers eyed me with suspicion. Eric ignored my existence and had his own new circle of supporters. No matter what I said, no one would listen. I'd been completely isolated by his lies. I graduated high school with good grades like always and looked forward to college, a fresh start. College was the first time I felt what it was like to be free. No one breathing down my neck. No one comparing me to Eric. No one making me just an afterthought. I made friends again and discovered my talent for writing. I started freelancing as a content writer, building a reputation online, and made enough money to support myself without ever once asking my parents for help. After graduation, instead of taking a normal office job, I realized I could actually write full-time. I had contracts with several major clients, and my freelancing took off. I even traveled the world as a digital nomad, healing slowly from all that trauma. Throughout all this, my grandmother was my one true family. Even after I moved out, we stayed close. I visited her every weekend, helped around her house, and spent hours just talking about everything and nothing. Fast forward several years, I recently completed a big project for a major brand. I shared glowing client reviews on Instagram, and the response was overwhelming. Other writers reached out to congratulate or network with me. Even some of my relatives saw and started messaging to compliment me. That's when things got surreal. My old college principal saw my success online and invited me to give a seminar to their students about building a content writing career. I was nervous. Public speaking isn't my strength. But I accepted and shared my story, including the struggles I'd overcome. Some clips went viral on social media. I was then invited on a local TV news segment to talk about content writing, which I also shared on my Instagram. All of this apparently made its way back to my parents. They'd never talked about me to relatives, so this was all news to them. That's when my phone started blowing up. 6 missed calls from my mom. I was stunned. It had been so many years. I finally called her, and she answered right away, eager to offer congratulations. My dad jumped on the line too, asking polite questions about my life, until they suddenly pivoted to money. How much was I making? I dodged the question. Then my mom said they were retired and the house needed renovations. They had no savings. My dad chimed in, saying, "We're family. You shouldn't be shy about sharing your income. We really need your help." I was floored. After years of silence, now they showed up because they wanted a payday? I told them I wasn't interested in helping. My mom accused me of being cruel. My dad insisted it was my filial duty to help. Instead of arguing, I decided to teach them a lesson. I said I'd help, if and only if they publicly admitted, in front of our entire family and friends, that Eric fabricated all those rumors and that they were wrong to ostracize me. I wanted them to face the same humiliation and accountability they'd forced on me. My parents freaked out. My dad insisted this was unnecessary. My mom wanted us to discuss things privately. I stood firm. No public admission, no help. My dad shouted that as my father, he deserved support. My mom begged me to do the right thing after all the years we raised you. I pointed out that it was my grandmother who raised me after they threw me away. Since then, they kept calling nonstop. I ignored every call and started to regret even responding. Would I be an awful person if I just cut them off for good? Update 1. It's been a whirlwind week. The messages of support I received after posting about this were overwhelming. Thank you, everyone, for understanding. To be honest, I only gave my parents that ultimatum because I knew they'd never do it. Eric has always been their favorite, and even if they figured out by now that he lied, they would never admit it publicly. Today, I got a nasty text from Eric after my parents tried contacting me and I ignored their calls. It read, "Hey sis, it's been a while since I saw you, and life's been so much better without you around. I heard about that stunt with mom and dad. You know they're never going to go along with it, right? They never cared about you and would never do anything to hurt me. I admit I lied about you 15 years ago, but that's ancient history. Stop being so selfish and get over it. You're unmarried and childless, so why can't you help them out by paying for the house repairs? Do the right thing for once. Be a better daughter." Reading that message stabbed me in the chest. The sheer gall to dismiss what I'd been through and demand my help simply because I owe it to them, and Eric using my marital status as an insult, that was the last straw. Fueled by frustration, I finally sat down and wrote a long email to my parents and a bunch of close family members. I laid out everything: my childhood, the constant favoritism, the emotional abuse, the fabricated rumors and their aftermath, and how I got thrown out and would even have been homeless if not for my grandmother. At the end, I attached a screenshot of Eric's message where he admitted he'd made up those lies about me. I asked everyone to read it. I sent the email just an hour ago, and I know all hell will break loose once my parents and Eric read it. I'll update you on their reactions. Update 2. A month has passed since my last update, and wow, a lot has happened. First, yes, the family drama exploded. My parents have been shamed and called out by relatives who'd had no idea just how bad the favoritism and emotional abuse were. Several relatives messaged me to say they were sorry and wish they'd understood what was happening. On the flip side, my parents and Eric started bombarding me with abusive texts. When things escalated, I got in touch with a lawyer who sent them a cease and desist letter, making it clear they'd face serious legal trouble if they kept harassing me. That, finally, seems to have scared them off. For the first time, I feel some peace. My grandmother, as always, has stood by me, telling me I did the right thing by finally exposing everything. Update 3. It's now been 2 months since my last post, and things are looking up. My content writing business is thriving. I'm getting more requests for seminars and podcasts, and feel established and respected in my field. I'm as close as ever with my grandmother. I took a whole week off just to spend time with her, learning about all the plants in her garden and making memories I'll treasure forever. Since the cease and desist, my family hasn't contacted me, and honestly, that's a relief. On a personal note, I finally started therapy to work through some of my lingering pain. For now, I think this is my last update. That wraps up the whole story. This is a clear example of how persistent family favoritism and denial can create lasting wounds, but also how personal strength and the support of even one caring figure can help rebuild a life. What would you have done if you were in Rachel's place? Would you have confronted your family publicly or tried to move on quietly? Let me know what you think. Here is a question for you. What do you think about this story? Share your thoughts in the comments below.